Now at 6, Governor Kotek backing new bills aimed at boosting student success, but not everyone is on board with the intervention plan. The great debate about education in the state coming up.
I can't believe she's alive. It's really just like a horror movie.
A local woman is in recovery after 8 dogs attacked her last summer. Now, one of the dogs' owner is facing charges as police search for a second suspect.
And a dramatic rescue as the Coast Guard saves a man clinging to a bridge near Astoria. Those stories and more on the way here in the 6 o'clock hour of Sunrise.
Good morning, and thank you for joining us on your Tuesday. I'm China Green.
And I'm Drew Carney. First thing we're going to do here in the 6 o'clock hour, check in with our buddies Rod Hill and Chris McGinnis for a little weather and traffic.
Yeah, we have a quiet day today coming up. We have a chance of showers increasing along at least the north coast this afternoon, and maybe we get some rain before dinner in Portland. But overall, we're looking at showers coming in overnight tonight or this evening, and then rain into tomorrow. You see the cloudiness streaming into our region, so we may not get any sun today, but otherwise it's going to be a pretty quiet day. The cloud deck is low. Chris has been finding some fog out there in some locations. 44 out at the airport right now. We'll be mainly dry, cloudy at noon, 49. Shower chance at 5 p.m., but maybe it's later than that before we see the first raindrops. Here's Chris.
Rod, thanks for that. Yeah, we did find the fog. This is down near Wilsonville, Elixir Road to be specific. There's your northbound I-5 commute. It's getting a little busier on that side of town, but so far no major issues. We take you up towards 205 near Stafford Road. Again, watch out, Westland, Wilsonville, maybe some patchy fog. Outside of that, the morning drive is off to a pretty good start. I want to take you real quick up to the Arbor Lodge neighborhood. We caught this on camera early this morning. A crash scene involving a car that rolled over on North Saratoga near North Montana. The driver of this vehicle, by the way, was taken away with injuries to the hospital, but the car actually had to be towed out of there on its side, presumably because the street is really, really narrow up there. Guys, obviously this probably woke some neighbors up in the area as well. No word on the severity of the injuries to that driver, but in any event, that road, North Saratoga in Montana, has just reopened. Back to you.
Thank you, Chris. Our top story this morning focuses on a new plan by Oregon Governor Tina Kotek that she hopes will strengthen the state's education system and make it more accountable.
It is no secret. We've talked about this for years, the fact that Oregon students lag behind national averages. So Thomas Schultz is covering this story for us in our studios. Thomas, this would be a potentially big change.
Yeah, really big change. Recently, as you mentioned, Drew, Oregon has struggled and they've pumped money into the schools to counteract that. Still, they haven't seen results. Instead, Oregon students rank among the worst in the country in reading. And now Governor Kotek wants to put more strings on those dollars. One way to do that is through House Bill 2009, which would set specific targets for districts receiving funding. If school districts fail to meet standards, they would face escalating consequences. After 2 years, schools would be required to receive coaching from the Oregon Department of Education. If they're still failing a couple years after that, the Oregon Department of Education could step in and choose how the district spend up to a quarter of revenue it receives from certain state funding streams.
And when things aren't getting better, I believe it's on us to lean in, get involved, and work with the school districts to get them on the right track.
Now, Republicans have pushed back against this plan. Representative Dwayne Yunker said in a statement that after years of state mandates that have lowered standards and created chaos, she now wants to usurp even more local control from school districts disguised as accountability. If the legislation passes, no school would receive district intervention until 2029, the 2030 school year, giving them time to adjust. We're expecting Portland Public Schools Superintendent Kimberly Armstrong to respond to this legislation a little bit later this morning at 10:30. Drew?
All right, Thomas Schultz covering the latest for us in Salem. Meanwhile, lawmakers in Olympia are expected to vote this week on a bill that would increase funding for special education programs in Washington schools. So this comes after Senate Democrats in Washington passed a bill last week to give schools more money for maintenance, supplies, and operating costs. According to Senate staffers, that bill would give school districts a boost of $120 million a year.
Schools should be able to focus on students. Schools should not have to scramble for resources, Mr. President. And this is about making sure that every district, no matter where a district is located, Mr. President, is able to provide a high-quality education to every single student in that district.
This all comes as the Senate tries to shore up a $12 billion budget shortfall.
Former Oregon Congresswoman Lori Chavez-DeRemer is the nation's new labor secretary. The Senate confirmed her yesterday in a 67-32 vote. The cabinet position puts her in charge of enforcing federal mandated worker rights and protections at a time when the White House is trying to eliminate thousands of government employees. Chavez-DeRemer is the first Oregonian confirmed to a presidential cabinet since the 1980s.
Happening today, Portland City Council will talk about an expansion to Portland street response. So it was just last week that Mayor Keith Wilson announced the expansion, aiming to respond to more calls and provide a shuttle service to shelters. City Council will discuss how much this expansion will cost and will also hold a public hearing. Today's meeting starts at 2:30.
A new drug treatment center is moving into a former hostel and community space in Portland's Central East Side. The medical facility will be a place more than 70 people can go once they've gone to detox and before they go into transitional or permanent housing. And while it was supposed to open last November, that date has been pushed to May of this year.
We want to engage very positively with any neighborhood we are in. And this particular project landed very quickly on the laps of the Buckman neighborhood and the Kearns neighborhood.
It was a really nice, small community-run hotel and hostel. They had a big cafe, and then suddenly it's gone, and we realized that they're going to open this drug rehabilitation center without anybody asking us or telling us.
Our team at The Story has much more on the new center, including interviews with folks who may benefit from the facility. You can catch the full report on our TV app, KGW+.
All right, before we get back to Rod Hill, we want to bring back this video from Florida this morning. This was the aftermath of what officials say was an EF2 tornado that touched down there in Florida yesterday morning, so about 24 hours ago. Winds in the state reached up to 115 miles an hour. Lots of destruction around Florida, including several homes damaged, all because of that EF2 tornado, Rod Hill.
Boy, you look at that first home, you out of the gate, you'd guess more like an EF3. I mean, that was total destruction of the roof and some of the interior walls and everything else.
Right.
This is that storm now moving offshore from the Carolinas that produced the severe weather yesterday in Florida. If you are up this morning and you're going to PDX and you're going to jump on a plane, shouldn't have any weather delays, really. Everything is pretty much dry except for the rain now pushing inland down in Southern California. We have cloudiness streaming into our two states, but we are being reported as completely dry and expected to stay that way until later this afternoon. That's when rain chances will start to pick up, mainly along the coast. Our big headline is the storm front that comes in tomorrow morning. We'll have a rainy morning commute here in Portland tomorrow, and then the cold air starts to hit the Cascades. And starting at 5 tomorrow afternoon through Thursday evening, an advisory for snow up in the high country. Tomorrow, snow level down to 3,000 feet. Snow picks up in the afternoon into the night, 6 to 10. 1,200-foot snow levels is a potential into Thursday morning. That does impact some of the Cascade foothill communities, of course, 4 to 8 inches. And then still a relatively low snow level, certainly for Cascade travel, 2,000 feet on Friday, with another 4 to 6, and more snow Saturday and more snow Sunday. So again, that front tomorrow morning flips the switch and gets us back into a very active Cascade snow valley rain pattern for the days to come. We're at 44 right now. You saw the low clouds over the city. Again, some fog out there as well. But we are dry. 39 Forest Grove, 43 in downtown, 40 down in West Lynn. All of our temperatures reported about the same. Winds are generally light. Almsville 45, Salem, good morning, 41 is your temperature. Here's Futurecast just a little bit later today, showing some showers starting to nip at the coast in the 3 o'clock hour. Not expecting much, if any, rain in Portland until we get into the evening. 53 today, the rain to showers tomorrow. Again, the morning commute tomorrow is rainy. Could be thunderstorms and hail mixed with heavy downpours and shower activity on Thursday, and that's your forecast.